Hello to all of my wonderful viewers. I'm Emmy here in Costa Rica. So today my cohort, my doctoral cohort and we visited the University for Peace. So this clip is taken in the bus. We are on our way to the university. It was a fantastic experience and we learned so many new things about Costa Rica, especially the fact that Costa Rica does not have an army, which is so interesting. And also 97% of the Costa Rican population are in fact literate. So Costa Rica is the top nation in the world with the highest level of literate people, our population. And also, as you can see, most of the areas in Costa Rica, as you can see, is very green. The air is very different, the weather, you can breathe, everything smells so fresh and clean, including the food, the water. As a matter of fact, most of the food items does not contain any additional sugars, which is fantastic and very healthy. So please enjoy this video and share your comments, questions, and opinions. Thank you so much for watching.
right now we are standing at something that we call the Peace Monument, or the long version of it is the Monument to Disarmament, Labor and Peace. This beautiful monument was sculpted and authored by a Cuban sculptor named Tajik-American, and she's an amazing artist. And if you catch it, or if you notice, there's like a circular or like an spiral going on, right? And figures that you're seeing here in the white material, the white stone, are mostly Costa Rican peace builders. Some of them are ex-presidents, most of them. Most of them are male, which is a critic that I always do. I think we should have a couple more women up here. But it was back in the 80s, so I'll keep fighting for that one. And yeah, I think that I cannot believe I forgot to mention this, but one of the biggest reasons why you're here is because Costa Rica is peaceful because of an actual fact to it, and that is that we do not have an army. I know you all know about this, but yes, we abolished the army back in the 40s, I believe, and we got all of those funds redirected to education, social security, and ecological preservation, which has allowed the country to flourish as a place where people can really come and live their well-being. And it's so different also being, working in here, I get a very global perspective from everyone, and it's so different the kind of mindset that you get if you are born into a place where the army is an option to being born in a country where you will never be a soldier, right? That's just not a possibility. You get a very different view of the world when you see that, right? To me, as a Costa Rican, war is so stupid. I cannot even believe it. We have every option to talk it out, and we just still choose to keep fighting this way. So you might be wondering right now, well, what the hell? What happens if you get invaded, right? Well, diplomacy happens. We have very strong ties. So I guess in that sense, I gotta also be honest and realistic. This is not like a peace model that you could replicate everywhere in the world, right? It's very specific to this Central America context, which is also protected by the whole European Union and the US and everything. But it's a good ideal. It's very important. This is actually an article, so law, literally, it's a law article in our political constitution. So an amendment, I believe, that will be the US equivalent. And it reads, the army, it is forbidden as a permanent institution. So it's so impossible for Costa Rica to have an army that there would have to be a complete revolution, in the sense that the whole political system would have to be rewritten to actually allow. We still have police force, right? We still have ways of defense, but the war is not what we want. So this one, who has heard about this one? This guy, anyone? No? Well, he might very well be the most famous Costa Rican peace builder of all time. This is Oscar Arias Sanchez. Back in the 80s, he was, so some of you might remember if you were alive at the moment, but in the 80s, Central America was a mess. It was a political mess, and it seemed like all of the countries were going to become a dictatorship, and basically the rest of the world leaders were we cannot allow this to happen, or it will impact us eventually, right? And this Costa Rican president, Oscar Arias, he was essential in creating peace treaties in the Central American region, to the point that he actually won a Peace Nobel Prize. As with everyone, he is a person, so you might have a different opinion on him. It's a politician. Some people hate him, some people love him, whatever. I think that being from the UN structure, I'm very neutral, of course, and I think he did some amazing job, and we cannot oversee that. And right below him, it's a quote, this very incredible famous quote by a non-Costa Rican, and I gotta research this person because she probably was a diplomat visiting or something, but Ryoichi Sasakawa once said, happy is the Costa Rican mother that knows at birth that his son or daughter will never be a soldier. And if you know Latino culture, you'll know that we are very motherly. We look up to mother and grandmothers a lot. We're very matriarchal, right? So this is so embedded like in our culture that I actually knew about this quote before coming here. I didn't know it was from her, but I had overheard this like quote all throughout my childhood, right? So yeah, as you dive into today's activities, I truly invite you to just soak in this atmosphere and think about what message you will take from here to your home. Where does the Center for Executive Education fall into all of this peace thing, right? Because the center was what brought you, and I saw your question just a second. Basically, we just want to take the UN mission a step further. So we believe that peace is not only negative peace, right? When we're talking about negative peace, we're talking about the absence of violence. Well, that's not peace. That's not complete peace. You cannot have peace if there's not gender equality. You cannot have peace if there's poverty and hunger. And you cannot have peace if your boss is crazy and won't allow you to have a respectable work-life balance, right? That's also peace. And so we needed to take that message into classrooms, into work environment, into the corporate area where they really need to hear about well-being, right? And that's what we do basically. We take it into other places. So this is also an invitation in the near future, in the long term. If in 10 years you remind yourself that you were here and you want to bring people here or you want to collaborate in any way, it can be online, it can be like an abroad experience, you know, we make everything custom. Just write to us, we're very open and we would love to see you again here.